Welcome back to Guitar Intervals Links, but today we're going to be talking about major 7th arpeggios. So before we get too into this, kind of a prerequisite for this lesson is to be familiar with the other lesson on just major arpeggios, just regular major arpeggios, so I'll throw a link to that up here in the corner. I'll also put it in the description, because we're going to kind of be using that as our launching point into major 7th. So, like the other videos, we're going to be doing these through the caged shapes. Now, for this one, though, because it's based off the previous video, I'm just going to start right away with each shape. I'm going to plot the 5th and the 3rd right off the bat. So we're going to start with our C shape here, and let's plot the 3rd and the 5th. Alright, so there is our major arpeggio shape in the C shape, which you already know from the other video. So we're going to plot our 7ths here. Now, the C shape is kind of the easiest shape for this, because if you know you should know from the series of intervals that the 7th is found just before the root. So it goes 1 all the way up through 7, and then it loops back around again. So to find your 7ths, all you have to do is drop 1/2 step from your root. So in this instance, just drop a 1/2 step from here and drop a 1/2 step here, and you're going to have the entire arpeggio plotted. And there you go. So you're going to have a 5th on the low E, the 7th and the root on the A, the major 3rd on the D, 5th on the G, major 7th and root on the B, and major 3rd and 5th on the high E. For all of these shapes, you're going to have at least 2 instances of every interval. So you're going to have 2 roots, 2 thirds, 2 fifths, and 2 7ths in every single shape going up the fretboard. So let's hear how this sounds. So this is a C major 7 arpeggio in the C shape. Just want to throw in that C major 7 is one of my favorite chords. I think it was the first chord I learned because of how easy it is. You just play with 2 fingers and strum your guitar. I think it's one of the prettiest chords there is. Alright, so now we're going on to the A shape. I've already gone through the liberty of plotting it the way we already know the major arpeggio for the A shape. So we're just going to plot our 7th. This one here is actually the same as before, so we're just going to go 1/2 step down and plot that 7th. Now, you could just go 1/2 step down from here to plot this 7th, but let me tell you a different way, because the NANDI-Chorder kind of gives you a little cheat sheet because you see all the roots right away. If you pretended that you didn't see this root here, if you couldn't see that second root, what you would do is you would go up to your flat 7th. So if you look at your series of 4ths, it goes 1, 4, flat 7. And because we know that our guitar is primarily tuned in 4ths, what you can do is basically just skip a string. So because it goes 1, 4, flat 7, so you just skip a string and you're going to stay on that same fret and you're going to get to your flat 7th. Unless, of course, you cross from the G to the B string, in which case you're going to have the 1/2 step adjustment. But if we go from here and just go up to our G string, on that same fret, we're going to have a flat 7. And then from there, we know 1/2 step up from our flat 7 is our major 7. So that is what your major 7th arpeggio in the A shape should look like. A 5th on the low E, 7th and root on the A, major 3rd and 5th on the D, 7th and root on the G, 3rd on the B, and 5th on the high E. So this is going to be a C major 7 arpeggio in the A shape. Alright, moving on now to the G shape. Here's the G shape. I've plotted the major intervals, which you should already know for the standard triad. And for this one, we're just going to go 1/2 step down from each of the roots. So we have the 2 on the E strings, and then the 1 on the G string. So just a 1/2 step down from all those. Let's plot that. So we'll have 3 7s in this shape. Alright, so there you are. So there's a major 7th arpeggio in the G shape. So on your low E, you're going to have your 7th and your root. On the A, you're going to have a 3rd. On the D string, you'll have a 5th. On the G, the 7th and the root. On the B, the 3rd and the 5th. And on the E, the 7th and the root. So this is a C major arpeggio played in the G shape. Alright, so here is our major shape, our major arpeggio shape for the E shape. Now for this one, we're going to plot the 7th a half step down from the root on the outer E strings, but I want us to practice that flat 7 jump again. So for the middle 7th here, which we're going to have, go up 2 strings, so go from your low E and then go up to your D string. Remember, skip a string, plot your flat 7. Oops, I'm all mixed up here. Go up to your D string, plot your flat 7 there, and then go a half step up to plot your major 7. All right. So when you plot your 7s half step below on the E, you'll see them there. And then you plot that flat 7, and then a half step up from that, you find your other major 7. So you have 3 7ths in this shape. So on your low E, you have a 7th and a root. On the A string, you have a 3rd and the 5th. On the D string, you have the 7th and the root. On the G string, you have a 3rd. On the B string, you have the 5th. On the high E, you have the 7th and the root. This is a C major arpeggio in the E shape. All right, so this is our D shape. This would be the major arpeggio in the D shape for the standard triad. And we're just going to fill in our 7th. So we're going to go a half step down from each root. So a half step down from the root on the D and a half step down from the root on the B. And there you have it. On the low E, you have the 3rd. On the A, the 5th. On the D string, the 7th and the root. On the G string, the 3rd and the 5th. On the B string, the 7th and the root. And on the high E, the 3rd. So this is a C major 7 arpeggio in the D shape. Alright, now we just went through all 5 caged shapes and found major 7th arpeggios for all of them. So I went through and I just plotted this really quick, showing you the locations of, this is the entire arpeggio across the whole fretboard. So if you wanted to play C major 7 all over the place, this is what it would look like. And I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please subscribe for more content like this. We have a bunch of other videos. Make sure to check those out. Check out the NANDI-Method.com. Pick up Guitar Intervals Unleashed on Amazon. It's kind of like the textbook that goes along with the NANDI Method if you want to get really in-depth into it. Pick up one of these, a NANDI-Chorder. That's what I've been writing on. It's super helpful if you want to follow along with these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. We also have a video on that as well. And yeah, that's it. I hope to see you guys next time.